Tafshin Pei Dalet. A little bit of a controversial shiur, but must be said, must be taught. This is Torah. And we're going to see how the Ratzon is poyel, but more than this, we're going to see the tachlis of a person. The reason HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the person, what he's expecting from him. You know, everybody has questions, especially in this generation, where we created to sit and learn the whole day, where we created to go to work. What are we created for? What is HaKadosh Baruch Hu expecting from us? All this is going to be hinted in the psukim of the Leviim. You have to understand that from Shevet Levi came out the Torah in the Bnei Israel. Always, Shevet Levi, anyone that had a Shaila, they were the Bnei Torah. You ask yourself a question, if they're the ones supposed to teach Torah to the Bnei Israel, why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu bother them to carry the Mishkan? Can we find another way or another Shevet that's going to be responsible for that purpose? No, it had to be the whole entire Shevet Levi that's going to go to work. It's going to carry the Mishkan. Let's go into the psukim and see how much the Torah is stressing that. So we have the three families of Levim, Kehas, Gershon, and Menorah. In the right order is Gershon, Kehas, Menorah. Gershon being the Bechor, but in this year I will not go into why Kehas overcame. That's going to be for Shabbos. You know, the right of his Bechor, which is Gershon, that supposedly would have to be to carry the Mishkan, the Kodesh HaKodashim, the Aron HaKodesh, the Shulchan, and the Mizbeach. Here we're going to focus on the Ratzon itself. It says, Vaydaber Hashem and Moshe ve'el Aron le'imor nosoi es rosh. Look at this lashon, it's going to be repeated only twice. By Kehas, by Bnei Gershon, by Menorah, not going to be there. So Bnei Kehas, they were counted at the end of Parshas Bamidbar. And also, we're starting the Parasha with Bnei Gershon. Interesting. Mi ben shloishim shana v'ma'ala, from above 30 years old until 50 years old. Rashi says because this is when they have the strength. Kol ba latzava. Anyone who comes to the army. Now, let's check this language by Bnei Gershon. Kol haba litzvoi tzava. Anyone who comes to accomplish, I almost want to say his army, his duties in the army. Interesting that he changed the lashon. It doesn't look something so trivial, this. Still, the pasuk is going to change. Kol haba with a hey already, litzvoi tzava. Let's see the next lashon. Lasois melacha. Oh, they're not working, they're doing an occupation. But when it comes out here, it says zois avoidas. This is the work of Bnei Kehas. What's their work? To do a melacha. Why? Because when you carry the Aron HaKodesh, it's the Aron HaKodesh that carries them. But they don't really put much effort. Let's see to Bnei Menorah what it says. La'avoid avoida. Not la'asois melacha. La'avoid avoida. To basically work. Let's go to Bnei Menorah now. Kol haba latzava. So it's almost like Bnei Kehas. Kol ba latzava. But here it says kol haba latzava. But what's interesting is for the third time the pasuk has changed the lashon. because by Bnei Gershon, he just said, Kol habalit tzava. Now let's see what about their work. La avoid es avoidas. It's not anymore la avoid avoida. It's not anymore la asois melacha. It's la avoid es avoidas. As Hashem will try to answer all these questions, at least partially the most important, but the main question being, again, I'm stressing that point that Bnei Levi are the holy people. They didn't do the ego. In Mitzrayim, they didn't fall backward. They didn't follow the Mitzrayim's way. They kept learning in Beis Midrash, they kept learning the Torah and everything. These are the holy people of Am Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose the Shevet Levi. So why would they have to be bothered when they have already a big task is to teach Torah and halacha to Am Yisrael? The proof of what we're saying is that they were not allowed to have fields because they cannot get sidetracked by other work. So they didn't have field, they didn't have, the cities were the cities, but it was given to them. The Levim were interesting people in terms of their holiness, in terms of their work, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes them work. What's the side in this? Because we in this generation, the Achris Hayamim, we don't know what to do anymore. We don't know what's correct and what's not correct. So let's start the shiur here. The Zohar HaKadosh in Parshas Vayeshev bring us an interesting discussion that occurred right before Eliyahu Hanavi left Elisha, his Talmud, before the char of fire came down to pick up Eliyahu and take him up there forever. So Eliyahu Hanavi told Elisha, before I depart you, ask whatever you want from me. Elisha didn't lose his mind, was ready. He says, I want twice your level of spirit. I want twice your level of nevuah. You had one measure, I want double you. Wow, the Zohar asked a question. How is it possible that Elisha is asking for twice what Eliyahu Hanavi has? Can someone give something he doesn't have? No. You can give someone whatever you have, but what you don't have, you can give it away. So how can Eliyahu Hanavi tell Elisha, ask whatever you want from me, and I will give it? But he can give something he doesn't have. It's something depending on Hashem. How does Eliyahu Hanavi has a brazenness to assure Elisha that whatever he's going to ask from him is going to give it to him? It's not shaykh. Explain the Zohar HaKadosh, and he says, for sure Elisha knew that Eliyahu Hanavi could not give him twice the amount of nevuah that he had. But what he's requesting from him is Eliyahu Hanavi used once his power in order to revive the dead. Elisha requested double this, that he wants to do it twice in his lifetime, and indeed it happened. Naaman, the general that came to Elisha, and he had tsaras, he was leprosy, and Elisha cured him because Metzera Chashuv Kemes is considered like a dead, and the son of the Shunamis, where he was staying, where he was going, he promised her a son, and he died. This is the Navi Chavakut, by the way, and he revived him. That's the two examples that we have about Elisha reviving. But let's say analyzes this. What's behind Elisha motivation to ask for such a big thing and receive them indeed? Because he had the will. He didn't mean it. He didn't have underworld will. He had the upper world will. He had the will in order to help to be Mekadesh Shamayim, and therefore that will works. And he got double of what Eliyahu Hanavi got. Wow. The will is so magical. If you have a will, so we need to analyze what is the right will to have. Because apparently the will can do a lot of things. Even if they don't exist, even if they're not, they're above natural forces, will can accomplish. So what is the secret of the will? I'm going to take you back to the pages here. I want to show you inside. Ratzon, we learned a little bit last week also in Parashat Bamidbar, but Ratzon equals 346. Equal Mazel Moznaim and Mazel Thlei. The year is divided, is 12 months. First 6 months, it's from Nisan to Tishrei. And then you have a second 6 months. You have two groups included. So you have the winter, you have the fall and the winter, you have the spring and the summer. Mazel Thlei is a mazel of Nisan. You have the spring and the summer month. Mazel Moznaim is the mazel of Tishrei, the 2 months that form the Geula. With the Ratzon, it seems to be from that you can even create a Geula. We mentioned also last week that in order to reopen from Daria Kodesh, in order to reopen the sinner of Parasha when it's blocked, when we say Yesaberu, we have to have in mind these two names, Kapad and Kasa. Kapad is the back of the name of the Chachma, Yud K, Vav, Yud K, Vav, K. That's what it is. Kasa, you know what it is. Aleph, K, Yud, K. I want to put it on another line to explain it. So here we go fetch. Basically, the Ratzon goes all the way up to the back of the Chachma. And he goes also, obviously, to the Bina, because to go to the back of the Chachma, you have to pass the Bina. We know that this is the Midah of Venake. This is the Midah that wipes away the avoidance of the Bnei Yisrael in Yom Kippur. When a person has a Ratzon, he creates a kapara. He cannot arrive up there in such a holy place where it's Yud K, the Yud K of the Yud K Vav K, with his Ratzon, and he's still soiled. He cannot enter these chambers. So, because he has a pure Ratzon, well motivated, he is Zoiche first to Venake, to be cleaned up, so he can keep on going. Amazing what the Ratzon does. That's only a Ratzon. Why? Because he has a Ratzon motivated by the right motivations, which we're going to explain which are these motivations. Ratzon is also equal to Mekoyer, which is the Mekoyer means the source, which is the source of all the different attributes, the different midas, the different spheres. It's the Keser. Ratzon can elevate the person to the highest possible level. It doesn't matter where he comes from. It doesn't matter only of the motivation of his will. Will, what human cannot do, what machines can do, when tremendous power, intelligence cannot do, just the tremendous will can do it. Can change life, can change muzzle, can change everything in the life of a person. Just to give an example, Dari HaKadosh says when we say the pasuk that kapad, when we say Eine koilelecha yesaberu, because in the first pasuk he says V'atonoisten lahem es ochlam. It gives them only their food. What about the clothes? What about the roof? What about everything? Oh, no, that's the next pasuk. You open your hand, umasbiya lechol chayratz, and you give them what they want. So this is seemingly a stira, a contradiction between the two psukim. The first pasuk says you only give them their food. This pasuk says you give them everything. The difference is lechol chay ratzon. It's a person that inhabited by a will, a true will. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him everything. If he doesn't have the will, and he has seen, then the tzina of Parnasa is clogged. And how do you open it? Only with the Ratzon. What is Ratzon? Kapad Kasa. The name of the Chachma, the name of the Bina. This is the one that opens it up. And therefore, this Ratzon is so holy because at the end of the day, let's go back on the words, you will understand better. This Ratzon, this supposedly will, is represented by these two names, two huge names. What they do, these two huge names, we said last week, they wipe the tears by Rachel because they have two eyes, and we said two eyes. So we have two times Dim'ah equals 238 equals Rachel. So we have to, in other words, with these names, we have to wipe out the tears of Rachel. Why is she crying, Rachel? Because people have been going after the Shifcha, the Rishka, the Sitra Achra, that the Zohar call her El Zar. And when this one wants to replace Rachel, so when Rachel sees that her own children are feeding her enemy, it makes her cry. But with these names, when a person wants to come back and do the right thing, with this he wipes the tears of Rachel because now he is mesak and he does a tikkun. This Elzar is gone to the garbage, and Rachel still remains the Malchus next to the Yesod with Kucha Berichu and so forth. That's the side of these two names. With the will, just with the will. Obviously, if you can have kavanas, for sure, it makes it even holier. And we're going to see that indeed we need to have this input. So you can see already that you can change the parnasa of a person with these two names, which originate from the Ratzon. Just out of a little, why are people attracted by this guy, by the Risha. You see why we call him Zar? It's going to be important to understand this for the second part of the shiur. Zar equals 207 equals Oyer. She shines to the people. Oh, if you do this and this and this and this trick to this guy, you're going to become rich. You're going to have cover. You're going to have everything. Basically, you're self-centered. You're the center of the universe. There's no one else existing besides you and what you want to achieve. That's her. Rachel is just the opposite. The person doesn't want to take. He wants to give to others. And this is where the danger is. The El Zar is when a person is like this. He wants to receive. When by Rachel Imenu, the Yidden are like the Kohanim. They give. The palms are turned around. They want to bless. They want to be mashpia. They want to give to others. The Zohar explains on the pasuk Vayaviu es Mishkan, they brought the Mishkan to Moshe. It says here there is a side hinted as how did they bring the Mishkan? How do you raise the Mishkan? How do you do these? We know in Shamayim, okay, we build the Mishkan here, there's a Mishkan in Shamayim, but Mishkan down here below, Moshe raised it, but how do you raise the Mishkan up? When tzaddikim daven and they have kavanas with the yichudim they do in the tefillah with and even today, I mean, I said the Mishkan, it's not on a Mishkan, but even today, how to move the Malchus and bring her up, protect her, not to be exposed in this world with all the chitzonim, with all the tumah, she shouldn't be affected. How do we do this? By davening with kavanas, and because Yechudim are made, the Malchus is elevated till Moshe Rabbeinu, because Moshe Rabbeinu is considered the husband of the Shechina. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu is attached to the Tiferes, which is Kucha Berichu, therefore Tiferes Malchus. It's Kucha Berichu, and but we always image this in the Zohar as being the Kala of Moshe Rabbeinu. So we bring her to the Midah of Moshe Rabbeinu, and at that point she's safe, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching over her, and not only this, she's not in Galus anymore, she's back home. How is this done? Only with the Kavana. Now you take those two names that we said, the Rotzine, you will see that what the Zohar tell us, the Kavanas and everything, it's only this, because Kapad and Kasa together, 184 plus 161, which are these two names, equals Moshe plus the credit, plus 346, Moshe equals 345. In other words, you see, we're building it up step by step. With the will, the proper will, a person reaches all the way up to Moshe Rabbeinu. In other words, the tziner of Parnasa, it's coming from where the place of Moshe Rabbeinu is. Because these two names, we say we unclog the tziner. So the tziner is where the Torah is, the Tiferes. Yes, the Olam HaTorah is the Bina, but the Bina passed it on. The Har Sinai, when the Torah was revealed, so the Bina is the hidden world. So you don't see the Torah. The first time it was revealed on Har Sinai, it's the Midah of Tiferes. So that's why we call also sometimes Tiferes the Olam of Torah, which means the revelation of the Torah, but the true source, the world where the Torah initiated, is in the bill. So we see now that with that will also, we are capable of protecting not only us, opening the Parasha, but raising the Malchus. In other words, when we raise the Malchus to the Tiferes, automatically that's the action to unclog the shiur of Parasha. When a person has in mind, yes, you have in mind to unclog. Obviously, everybody's close to himself, and someone has v'sham who should not know that has problem of Parasha. It's terrible. And yes, he's going to think about it, but the way to think about it is I'm raising the Malchus to Moshe Rabbeinu, and with the two names, when I say Einei Koil Eilecha Yesaberu, the two eyes, Tapat Kasa, and automatically I'm going to remove from with these names the Dim'ah and the Dim'ah from Rachel Imeinu, meaning I'm going to remove the El Zar from there. The Malchus is going to go up, be protected, and it's going to be a Yichud with Kudsha Berich L'Shchite. Now, practically do we do this? It seems very complicated. I want to learn with you, which we don't usually do, but this is such a hot subject that we need to learn that together. To see where it's written, this is going to remain available. I'm going to quote Morris. I'm not going to quote Zohar here. I'm going to quote Mishnayos, everything. Tanu Rabbanan, Chachamim taught us. Ve'osafta deganecha, in Kriya Shema, we say, when you're going to listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so you will be able to harvest your produce. What is he coming to tell us? Because it says in the Pasuk in Yeshua, lo yamush sefer Torah mipicha. There's a chiyuv that the sefer Torah, meaning the Torah, should never be, our mouth should never be without saying words of Torah. Maybe it has to be that way, that constantly we have to learn, we have to say divrei Torah. Talmud Loimar come to teach us, that no, there is a part of you that has to become materialistic. You have to go back down to this world. Conduct yourself like everyone in the world. Divrei Rabbi Ishmael. Rabbi Ishmael Kohen Gadol. That's what he said. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Omer. Shimon Bar Yochai says, is it possible that if a person sow his field at the time of sowing, Bishas Zriya, and he plants at the time of planting, Bishas Ktira, and he will harvest at the time of harvesting, Vedash Bishas Disha, and he will thrash at the time of thrashing, Vezoire Bishas Aruach, and throw it to the wind to remove the peel at the time. Torah Matei Alea. So when is he going to learn? All his time will be consumed by his work. So Shimon Bar Yochai say, Ela Bizman She'Yisrael Oisin Ritzon Yishal Malkein, when Bnei Yisrael are accomplishing, they do the Ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Keep track of these words now. We're going to keep very much track of the word Ratzon, because it's completely connected to the subject here about working. When they accomplish the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, melachta na'ases al yedei acherim. Others come and do the melacha. As it says in the Pasuk in Yeshayahu, be'amdu zarim, foreigners are going to come and they will shepherd your flocks. Ubizman she'en Yisrael oitzin Hashem eshel market. But at the time when Bnei Israel are not accomplishing the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, melachta na'aseh al yedei atzman, they have to do their own melacha. So he learns the pasuk not as the pshat in Kriya Shema, that you will harvest at the time when you listen. No, it's when you don't listen. And not only this, on top of this, they have to do the work of others. As it says, you will work for your enemy. So we have here two Tanoim, Kedoshim, Kedoshe Eli and Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol that used to go up Ma'achorei HaPagat, behind the curtain by the Kisa HaKavod, talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and saying that you have to live as a human, and you have to do your work. You have to associate work into your schedule. And Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says, no, you don't need to. This machlokes already, we see it in Gemara Kiddushin also. Rabbi Meir Oimer, Rabbi Meir says, Rabbi Meir Balanes, Le'olam yelamed Adam es beino umanus nekia vekala. A father is obliged to teach his son a trade which is clean and easy. And he has to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who is the one that all the wealth and belongings are to him. There is no trade that has no wealth in it and poverty. A person doesn't become poor because of the trade he's using. Umanus is only a kli, is only a vessel to receive the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Birkas Hashem hi tashir is the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that make the person wealthy. Velo yashirus min ha'umanus, and also wealth is not from the trade. Ela hakol lefi zchuso, everything is according to his merits. Shimon ben Elazar, Shimon ben Elazar, the grandson of Shimon Bar Yochai, says, have you ever seen in your lifetime that an animal or a bird that has a trade? And despite that, they have their parnasa without any difficulty. Though they were created only to serve me, and I was created to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Isn't it not normal that I also should not have difficulty getting my parnasa? Is it not, doesn't make sense? If already those were supposed to serve me get their parnasa without any difficulty, so me, kol sheken, because I serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that I should reach my parnasa without any tzar. Ela shorati ma'asai. But I sinned, v'kipachti es parnasasi, and because of this, I refrained my parnas. What do we see from here? We see that the Tanaim are teaching us something, a person was placed in this world to be a person. What is a person? A person in his parnasa needs to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and feel that everything he has comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is extremely important because that feeling, you can only have it if you're facing your own destiny. If you don't face your own destiny, you're not really connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're connected to the rich guy that's going to give you a stipend. You're connected to the other rich guy. And now automatically, as we're going to see in the Mishnah, it's exactly those words. Your whole outlook on life is becoming biased, meaning you're not seeing exactly through the right lens. That's everything is coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're going to see that everything is coming from the next guy. But a person must work. Why is it so important? The Gemara in Kiddushin says, the Tanu Rabbanan, Chachamim Toras, Ha'av Chayev Bivnoi Lemudoi. These are the obligations of a father. He has, first it starts by, he has to do in bris milah. Velivdoisoi, do the pidyon aben. If he's a Tocher, he has to redeem him. Ulelamdo Torah, he has to teach him Torah. Ulehasio Isha, he has to marry him. Ulelamdoi Rumanis, and he has to teach him a trade. Rashi says why? Because if he doesn't have a trade, he's going to steal people. He's not going to be able to stay with our money. How is he going to feed himself and his family? He's going to start stealing. Some rim and some say abla shito ibamayim, even to swim. He has to teach him to swim. Rabbi Yehuda says, Kol shenoye melamed she'enoi melamed es benoy humanus. Whoever doesn't teach his son a trade, melamdoi listus. He teaches him how to be tricking people. He teaches him theft. Listus akadata. Really, is it by not teaching him a trade? Is he teaching him to be stealing? No. Keilu melamdo listus. It's like he's teaching him to become a thief. In other words, when a person has no value in life, in order to bring his parnasa, he panics. Yes, it says in the Ten Commandments, in the Signal, so many different ways. But this person, it's like he's drowning. He panics. He's not within his mind. You can explain him that you can steal. But what am I going to eat? I can't. You can't. The person, the same way he can remain without breathing, he can remain without eating and drinking. And if you put him into that position, it's a tremendous nisayon. Not to teach a trade, to a clean trade, kosherlik trade. Doesn't mean go to college. No, you don't need to. It's not a makom that's tahor. It's a makom of tumah. You don't go there. You don't step foot there. Well, it's missing from people that are very wealthy and never stepped foot inside a college. We don't need colleges. We don't need anything. There are enough trades that a person can learn and become very wealthy. Because we saw that the trade is a kli, is a vessel. His ratzon is what's going to bring down the bracha. And the bracha is, at the measure of the bracha he brought down, he's going to make his parnasa. That's all it is. And this is expressed by Rabban Gamliel, the son of Yudanasi. Extremely well Mishnah of this. Now we're going to go in the real heart of it. We saw it through the Gemaras, everything, but now we're going to go back to the Tanaim, and we're going to see exactly, and we're going to explain it. While I'm here, I would like to explain you something here. As we spoke the Mishkan, because the elevation of the Shekhinah, how do you do this? How did the Mishkan come to exist? Moshe Rabbeinu was ordered to go to Kol Ish, every person, Asher Nesa'oi Liboy. Again, this word of Nasoi is right here. But this time, Nesa'oi Liboy. What do you mean his heart elevated him? Look at this. And you will start understanding. I'm going to crystallize everything I said till now into those two words. This equals 395. Equals neshama. The true ratzon, the true will, has to be coming from the neshama. How does it come from the neshama? Oh, it's a stage and it's a process. had to go internalize a will, to go in and understand and pay some time that why do I want this, analyze it until it's crystal clear that I want it for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because everything that goes into the neshama has to be pure. If it has any other motivations, you have to know you're still in the goof. That's not considered a will. So that's why guys can say, I want the lotto and I will give the tzedakah and everything. Everybody make these promises. And I will live. No, this is personal. This ratzon will never be accomplished. But once you bring it up to here, and it's in the neshama, right away you deserve Parnasa. Because Parnasa can only come through the bracha of Birkas Hashem. And this, you have to go get it with the shemos that we mentioned above. I'm going to show you again. Only when we do this, the kapad and the kasa, so we go into the chachma and into the bina, then the bracha, since we elevated the malchus all the way up there, then a person is zoichet, that's the will of the neshama. Only the neshama can bring up the malchus there, and this brings the parnasa to a person. This is the side of parnasa. That crystallizes everything we have said. Rabban Gamliel, Kehas, Mishnah base, Perik base, Mishnah base. Rabban Gamliel, Benoy shel Rabbi Yehuda Anas Yoimer, Yafe Salmud Torah in Derech Eretz. It's proper to learn Torah while also having an occupation. Sheyegias Sheneihem, because toiling on both of them, Mishakachas Aven, makes forget the oven. What he means, the person has no more time to try to sin or whatever. When he's free from working, he goes learn. When he's free from learning, he's going to work. At that time, he has no more time to sin. In other words, the recipe to prevent a person from sinning, he has to have two components. He has to be learning Torah, and he has to be working. So that's what Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol said. We mentioned in some previous year that when a person learns 2 halachas in the morning, he goes to work, learns 2 halachas at night, he is ben olam haba. But here we're going to talk about a midah higher than this. That he's going to be a tzaddik. He's not going to be sinning. In other words, whoever doesn't have these 2 components is a sinner. As we're going to see from the Kamana, the whole Torah and every Torah she'en ima melacha, that not associated with an occupation, with work, Seifa Betela, at the end, it's canceled. The Geireres Aban. What do you mean it's canceled? The guy is not going to learn anymore. It's going to do, and it's going to be sinning. 1 second. V'chol Torah. If you're only learning Torah and you're not working, she'eni ma melacha, Seifa Betela, it canceled. Somehow, we're going to have to explain the Geireres, and will engender oven, sin. We need to go into the words of Rabban Gamliel and understand exactly what he tells us, because here is a tremendous side. The Menorah on the Mishnah explains that Torah weakens the person. Working breaks. It's hard, you don't know, you have fears, it breaks a person. When you put these two together, there's no room for the Yetzer Hara in that person. In other words, the Menorah explains that the way the way to cancel the Yetzer Hara, it's not by just learning. You cannot, in contrary, as we'll see. But once you combine Torah with the working, your Yetzer Hara is trapped. V'chol Torah she'en ima melacha. And what did Rabbi Gamliel means by every Torah that has is not associated with the work? Because a person cannot live without food, without parnasa. So what is he going to do? He's going to start stealing, being dishonest. He has somehow to survive, so he will be dishonest. And because of that dishonesty, his Torah is pure. It's going to go away from him. That's what Meshakachas. He's going to forget it. The Gereres Aron, and it's going to engender a sin, tremendous sin, stealing, dishonesty, lying to people. Chilul Hashem, he looks like a frum guy. But he's taken hostage by his situation because he has no mean in order to support himself. And though he's going to use any possibility in order to do the Komana HaKadosh here brings from the Magid Milublin a Torah min Hashamayim. We're talking about here the biggest Malachim, Mamish Malachim. And he's going to give us a different pshat. He says, what is Mishakachas Aron? When you combine Torah and you combine at the same time working, I mean, when you combine Torah and working together, this person remains humble. Like all the balabos that they learn after thing, the Torah gives them this outlook of, wow, how much more I have to do. And they feel lonely because they have to go to work. So they always see themselves incomplete. So they're always on the progressing path. How can I sin? I need to raise myself. I need to go up. I can't stay down here. It's not possible. That's the trick, says the Magid Milubni. Because together, it breaks a person, say, I'm already low enough like this, I can't lower myself further. But listen well. But the one who works only, doesn't learn Torah, he becomes totally materialistic. And he thinks, don't worry, I believe in God, I'm a good Jew, I'm a tzaddik, I don't do nothing wrong. He's doing everything wrong, but he cannot even see it because he doesn't have the eyes of the Torah to look at himself. He looks at himself through the eyes of the Yetzer Hara. What is the Yetzer Hara is going to tell him? You're perfect, my friend. Keep on doing what you're doing because you serve my cause. He's going to be a tzaddik. Says the Magid Milublin, Kol Sheken, the one who only learns. He's going to become a Baal Gaiva, and he's going to feel that he is a tzaddik. In other words, why is Rabbi Gamliel tell us it's a must to work, to combine Torah with Derech Eretz? Otherwise, the person is lost forever. Because looking at himself, I'm only sitting and learning, I'm a special person, and I'm doing this, while you're completely dishonest, you're a rat, and you are, when you sit down and learn, every pagam is tremendous. You can't stop, the Beatlesman, Brian Betailing, you sold your mouth. And he feels just the opposite. He is a personification of the Yetzer Hara. Worse than the person that only works. It's better to work only, according to the Maggid Milublin, according to the Kamana HaKadosh, than to just learn. The sense of humility that gives the combination of Torah and Avodah doesn't exist if the person either do Torah or either do Avodah. If you dissociate them both, in both of them, there's one midah. They will look at themselves as tzaddik, which is and the completely the opposite. The Damesek Eliezer, the son of the Kamana HaKadosh, Malach Elohim Chaim, unbelievable. Till today, his beer on the Zer is brought by all the biggest. He wrote a sefer on Pirkei Avos called Zekan Beisoy. He brings mostly the Torah of his father, and he explains, but he has his own interjections from time to time. He says, when someone learns the Torah, someone touches the fire of the Torah, and he sees what the Torah is, he thinks this is him. He thinks, I'm the biggest tzaddik of the generation. I deserve to be. I deserve to be. So people have to listen to me. He's going to become a Rev Rav, which his only motivation will be to try to rule over others. This is the path of someone that only learns without having an occupation. He's going to think his language is the biggest tzaddik, the biggest chassid, the biggest, everything for him. He deserves, he has to be on top, he has to be, meaning that Midas Anava cannot enter that person. He is fully a Baal Gaiva, which we know from the Gemara. Baal Gaiva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you and I cannot live in the same. HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts him out of the world, this world and the next. Now we understand why Rabban Gamliel is stressing so much that point that we have to have the combination. We need to have Talmud Torah, and we need to have Derech Eretz. We need to have learning, and we need to have also an occupation. Because only through that, in this world, can a person be saved. Can a person access the midah of Anava? Anava equals 131. The name of the Satan Sam Market equals 131. Only through that midah, that's why he says, Mashkachas Oven, he can be mevatel, he breaks the Menorah explain, he breaks the Satan. But someone who only does either one becomes a Baal Gaiva. Gaiva B, why Kadosh Baruch Hu says you and I cannot live in the same world, because Gaiva is called 15, like Yud K. The Yud K of the Yud K of K. This guy goes all the way up. He's up in the Keser Chof Bina, and he thinks he's up there. A Meshuga Sheba Meshugayim, a fool among the fullest. You already think that he is in I want to express this our way. I'm going to show you by the Leviim where it says that, and you understand now already better why by the Leviim HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to give them an occupation. Despite the fact that they were the one teaching the Torah to others, responding to questions in halacha to others, they had to do They have an occupation, because a person cannot come through this world and elevate himself to the next world without having both of them. You have to know, my Rebbe, my main Rebbe in my life, Rebbe Chiel Fischel Eisenbach, Zecher Tzaddik V'Kodesh Livracha, from, he was Rosh Yeshiva of Shara Shamayim, the Yeshiva of Mekubalim. He was makpi that every person works for 3 hours minimum a day. 3 hours a day you have to work. Otherwise, you're in danger. Himself, he used to write mezuzahs. All his children are working 3 hours a day. He was makpi that his close talmidim work 3 hours a day. You have to work 3 hours a day. Otherwise, this Mishnah will come and give you an awakening call. Oh, I know this, and I know this Chachma, and I know the Shemis, and I know the Kavanas, and I know, and now this is going to take you that you feel I'm a Tzaddik Gomer, Yadar Yakadesh, or Chaz v'Shalom, thinking like this. But the fact that you're working also, this is going to give you access to the Midah of Anava, and you will always look at what you don't have versus what you have. And now you're going to see there's so many more Kabbalahs, so many more Midas. Torah is only, the more you toil in Torah, the more you see how little you know. And that's the Midah he wanted to give to his Talmidim. And the older I get, I find it tremendous, that Midah. Tremendous that the Mekubal of the Mekubalim of the previous generation is teaching people in the yeshiva of the Mekubalim in Yerushalayim that you have to work a minimum of 3 hours, so it's meaningful. You have done an occupation. I'm not learning at that time. Oh, yes, you are learning, because that's the way you access the middle of another. That's the way you break your Yetzer Hara. Why it is going to be good to you if you only learn and you have the Yetzer Hara in your pocket? It's not going to save you. So now we have these Leviim. He's going to pick up. I won't have time to go in all of them. We're going to take the middle ground, okay? B'nai Gershon, the Bechor. So it says pretty clear here, La Voida Voida. As the pasuk, now we understand the touch of La Voida Voida. It's to have an occupation. The pasuk says, why do they have to go there? La Voida Voida. To have an occupation. This should be instead of the occupation. The Bnei Israel have their occupation. The Levim are going to have this as their occupation. This equals to 187. This equals unbelievable. Yud K, which is 15. Look at this yichud. No, sorry, it's Yud K, Vav K. The name in the Chachma with Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey, Wishem Kasa. You have a yichud between the Chachma and the Bina when you do work. You're accessing, because you always have your eyes elevated to HaKadosh Baruch Hu send bracha b'maseh yadecha, who send bracha in your hands, in your occupation, in what you're doing. You're hoping so you can bring to your family, support them and so forth. So because the person is always in this mood, therefore his heart is always connected, not with the Yesod, not with the Tiferes and the Malchus, with Chachma and Bina all the way out there. Now, what is the person achieving with that? We understand at the end of the day, this translates, everything we do here is through the Malchus. Ze Hashar Hashem, Tzadikim, Yavoi, Yivoi. It's a shout to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, It's the entrance to the upper gate. So if you want to go up to the Chokhmah and the Bina, you always have to go through the Malchus. So what are you doing to the Malchus? This equals to this. Yud K, K, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, Elohim. When a person has his eyes towards Hashem all the time to give him bracha, the Yada, it's a tremendous elevation to the Malchus. This person doesn't realize that he accomplishes a tremendous elevation more than what we have seen before, bringing the Kala to Moshe, above Moshe. Because the fact that he's seeking from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's doing the yichud of the Chokhmah, of the Bina, and brings the Malchus to them, where the two names Adnus and Elohim are in the Malchus. So you bring the Malchus all the way up to Chokhmah and Bina. That's what a person, now we understand why he can access the middle of Anava, because he is all the way above the 7 meters, the 7 lower meters, is in the 3 upper meters. And that's the key. That's the side of avodah. When a person works only when he's stressed and he's facing his destiny, and he knows he has to bring parnasa, this person in his eyes, in his neshama inside, he feels the scratch, and he's all inside a tefillah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the Ratzon. You see the inside Ratzon? That's the Ratzon. Look where the Ratzon brings the person, but now you have to bring it to your mind that you actually doing. This is the Kavana during that Ratzon. This is the Kavana that's going to open up the tzinoir of the Parnasa. This is the Kavana that's going to bring the Birkas Hashem in the Masa Yadayim of every person. Incredible what we have here. Let's analyze what he did. We have Chokhmah, so he went to the Chokhmah, the Bina, and he brought the Malchus there. What is this combination doing when this happens? Because that's what he did through the Yehudim. This equals to 636. 636 equals, you ready? I don't know if it has a yud or no. No. This is a huge tikkun for the Yisrael. People always try to find, ways to be mesakin the Yisrael, the nitzoitzois, that fell, and so forth by the nachash. When you do that here, when you bring up the Malchus, while the Malchus goes up, it's brought in many places, that when the Malchus, you raise the Malchus, when the Malchus goes up, because you raised her, it's going to raise also your nitzoitzois with her. And that's a tikkun of the Yesod. And that's much stronger than all the other tikkun. Interestingly, 636 equals 2 times 318. 318 being Bnei Aharon. By another of our view, it's called Shnei Bnei Aharon, with 2 sons of Aaron. So twice, we know that 2 times Bnei Aaron equals this. Not of our view, this is what they have done exactly. They brought the Malchus to the Chokhmah and the Bina. They wanted to be mesaken the Yesod of the Oilam and kill the Elzar. Before time, that's why they paid with their life. But in other words, when you do this, this is the tremendous Ratzon that we need to have. This was the Ratzon of Nadav Avihu. they gave up their lives in order to be Mesak in the world, the Malchus Shakai. This is the Ratzon. How do we access this Ratzon? Only when a person has an occupation. If he doesn't have an occupation, he's far away from this Ratzon. He doesn't even know how to reach his neshama. The Kamana keep on explaining what is the segula of combining work with Torah. He says, because whenever a person is in that mood and he looks up, whatever he does with his hands, he creates letters. His work become a holy. It's not really work that he does. He does yichudim with the work. In other words, let's take just someone who, for example, I don't know, let's take an example, is working the fields. Okay, it's planting, working the fields. When he works the Adama, he's using the letter Aleph Dalet Mem He when making a hole. Why? Because he wants HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring brachas, because he doesn't know how his fruits are going to come out, how the land is going to give enough rain. So he's all prayer inside. He's in Yud Kei, Kei, Adnos, Elohim. So his work takes all the nitzoitzos, which are in the word Adama, in the word choyer, making a hole, in the word zera, planting, and all go up. All the nitzoitzos that fell in that place, they go up. He's doing tikkunim with his hands, which are tikkunim that you cannot do by learning Torah. The commander brings from the Baal Shem Tov, which is Yortzeit 2 days ago, first day of Shavuos. He takes the pasuk to teach Bechol derachecha da'ed. You have to knock the Baruch Hu through all your ways. It doesn't matter if your ways is taking you by plane to China to work. It doesn't matter if it takes you to Germany. It doesn't matter. That's understand through everything that Hashem does to you, understand his presence. Understand what he wants from you. By thinking that way, you always connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a way that it's impossible otherwise to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And every time and every person should do, so he explained, the Lamed Tes Melachos, the 39 melachos, because these 39 melachos, once you accomplish them, you do them, automatically you remove a part of the klala of Adam had 10 klalas. Chava got 10 klalas. Nachash got 10 klalas. Adama got 9 klalas. 39 klalas altogether. In order to redeem, to cancel, and to raise all the nitzoitzos that fell during Chet Etz Adas, you're doing it with your work. It has to be through materialistic, through physical efforts, through occupation. Because you cannot go in the underworld just with the learning Torah by learning this. It's impossible. It needs to be physical and to go and bring these nitzoitzos and bring them up. The Baal Shem says it's an obligation. One of his Talmidim says, oh, me, I'm only learning, I don't do a thing. So he says, when you go to the Melacha, when you learn the Melachas, you have to make the Yichudim. You have to know how to make the Yichudim. Do we know how to make those Yichudim? No, we don't know how to make those Yichudim. Did he tell me to know how to make these Yichudim? He doesn't say. But in other words, the answer with the Baal Shem is go to work. Because we need all of us to raise the nitzoitzes that fell and that fell in the klala. And in the klala, that's the part, the oil of the nachash is our goof. And through this only, we can bring up I'm going to finish on this. Oh, I'm going to explain the other Mishnah. Before I finish, I want to show you something. So, we learned till now, the key is this. Torah and derech eretz, two together, okay? This equals to a number, 1,126. This equals to deflagration, atomic bomb in the heavens equals kasa, tamag, kana, tara. Okay, those of you who know Learn with me Shabbos, you know exactly what I mean. It means Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey, vernacular. Aleph, Hey, Hey, Yud, Hey, Tamar. Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey, Mikveh. With the name, all the shemes of the Bina are connected with the shem in full of the Malchus, the Admis. Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud. That's what you're doing. Torah with derech eretz, you're connecting in full the yesod of the Bina with the yesod of the Malchus. In full. And that's the connection of Torah shebichtav with Torah shebe'al peh. As we learned it last week, the Midbar Sinai be'oiv ha'meir. That's what it is. That's the yichud. And you're doing it with Torah and derech eretz. If we take now with Melacha, people have Melacha, the two together, okay, equals to 707. If we write Hamalchus in full, we're going to have it. Hey, Mem, Lamed, Tav, Vav, Hamalchus, 707. The only way to enter the Ashal Hashem, the only way to elevate the Shekhinah is through Torah Melach. That was Bnei Kehas. Let's see what Torah Avodah gives us. So now we have again Torah and we have Avodah for the other Levi. Right. So Torah and Avodah equals 698. Equals, I'm just going to recopy it with one little change. It's exactly Hashchina, but instead of having a Yud here, you have an Aleph. It means it's 1 degree under. When a person works as a melacha, just an occupation, means he trusts Hashem more. His bitachon is high. When he does a avodah, melacha comes from the word melech. You're somech on the melech. And you're doing just an occupation. You're not crazy getting out of your way. When you have a little bit of a lack of bitachon, you still raise the malchus, but it's not as high. And that's the expression. This is the key, and this is I'm finishing on this shiur. Hu hayomer, Rabban Gamliel, asay retzoinoi kirtzoincha. Make his will, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will, like your will. Kedei sheyasei retzoincha kirtzoincha. So he's going to make your will as his will. So whenever you're going to wish something, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do it for you. Batel retzoincha mipenei retzoino. Cancel your will before his will. Kedei sheyevatel retzoin acheri mipnei retzoincha. So he will cancel the will of others before yours. Meaning you will also be able to impose to others what you want. Not only to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but also to others. Explains the command. What does it mean? The same way, when you go out and you want to raise, and you're going to want to make money, bring gold, this, that, and so forth, you go full concentration, rapidly, you're happy, and you almost carry you feel like light like air. The same way. When you accomplish the return of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, don't be slack. Be happy. Do it with concentration. Do it with happiness. Do it as if you're going right now to get a tremendous treasure. That's the key. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will accomplish also your ratzon whenever you want. Rashi says, brought down in the Zera Shimshon, actually in Parasha also, 3 words. Retzon, you have to be you will also to accomplish the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Chefetz, you have to be willing for it. And taiva, it has to be what you're seeking. The same way a person has a taiva sometimes to drink wine, loves wine. It has to become your taiva to accomplish the retzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As I mentioned to some, we have an example of this and the outcome of it. Chanoich was a shoemaker. Maybe the first shoemaker in the history of this world. But every time, where it's brought down it's a command that brings down from the Baal Shem, that every time that he used to make a stitch, he used to say Yud. It's when he stitched the other side, he said, now I have Yud K together. Vav K, Yud K. Every stitch he was in the Yud K, Vav K, connecting the Yud K, Vav K together to Yud K. What happened to Chanach? Chanach became, people chose him as the king. The kings of all earth decided they're going to put a king on them. It was Chanach. Since he was doing a job, Torah u'melacha, Arachaim HaKodesh, as much Kodesh Kodashim as he was Malach Hashem, as the Baal Shem says, he was the Bechin of Mashiach ben David. He was doing a melacha. He was sewing cloth. He was sewing silver and gold, embroidering silver and gold into cloth. So Chanoich became the king, but he didn't become holy. he kept his humility. What was the end? The end came as when a char came from Shamayim, picked him up, took him up before everybody. For 7 days, they were able to see him going up. Look at HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it that the world should know what's the reward. And this is made by Torah Aborita. I don't mean with this year to hurt the feelings or to have anything in mind, but I just want to have that people should not have status anymore. That's the purpose of a shiur. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us, each one, it's like we creating old Bnei Israel a building called the Shechina. Some are roofers, some are shipwreckers, some are framers, some are plumbers, some are electricians. Everyone has to do something else, a different trade, in order to complete the binyan. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us, but we have to be aware also of the dangers. But all of us have to make a melacha. Even the Levim have to do a melacha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should sing, Bracha v'atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedechem. Birkas Hashem should come in all your doings, and easily you should be mefanes your family, b'shefa lechol chai ratzon, should be miskayim by you, and all Bnei Israel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should remove the mid of aniyus from this world and bring us to the girl to the Gemara b'yameinu. Amen.